Tell us a bit more about EV charging, because I saw that you have been dealing with 500 kilowatt, up to 500 kilowatt chargers. Now, I read that BYD has now 1 megawatt charger or someone else. How far can we
Yeah.
go? This can fry the whole thing, no?
Yeah, the sky's the limit. I am really behind the idea that we need to electrify everything. And when I was working on these half megawatt chargers, those were a pretty early product from Proterra electrifying transit
Mm-hmm.
buses. Those transit buses had very short range. In this early day, they were maybe only 30 miles of range, but they would charge at a half megawatt in order to be able to complete the route. So they would pull into a transit station, they would dock with the proprietary technology that had been put together, and they had lithium titanate batteries that could really absorb almost all the current you could throw at them. And then they would go on and do their route. Now, lithium-ion batteries have gotten better in density to where that model isn't necessary anymore. And as you mentioned, you fry the grid a little bit when you have a load come on at half a megawatt for 5 minutes and then go away for half an hour. Well, we need to build some resiliency into our grid if we're going to be charging things like ferries. There's exciting things going on in Europe. I took a ferry last year that charged at, let's see if I can remember. I think it charged at a full megawatt and had 2 megawatt hours of capacity on board. And these are the kinds of charging powers we're going to need to electrify everything.
Yeah, that's a serious load, 4 megawatt, right?
Yeah, definitely. That's the power of electricity. You can make that kind of thing happen.
It's amazing. I remember getting into a bus in Shanghai many years ago, more than a decade ago, but that had some sort of something connected from top. Maybe those are capacitors, not necessarily batteries. And it will go from one distance to another, a few hundred meters.
Yeah, yeah. The flash charging technology is really interesting. And also, I saw some really cool buses in Shanghai some years ago. I went there in 2019, and it was really incredible. Even in that time, these were absolutely everywhere on the Chinese streets, and not just 2 and 3 wheelers. They had electric buses and taxis and trucks all over the place in 2019. It's wild. And so they also are leading in a lot of ways, of course. But even with these capacitor super fast charging buses with a pantograph will charge at each stop. There are lots of different solutions that are necessary, and it seems like China has not been shy about trying out that and battery swapping and every kind of technology to make electrification work.
Yep. And then also China has that induction charging continuous on a road strip. That's also, I think,
You know,
Germany been working on, or can you give us
you
a
know,
bit of more?
I don't really know that much about that. I think that China has not been shy to explore all kinds of technologies. That is one where, as an engineer, I really get anxious about putting all the expensive hardware under the road where the trucks are going to be rolling over it and everything. So the pilots that I've seen for that, I think, have not typically been super successful, but does take some boldness to see what will stick and what won't. Maybe sometimes they'll surprise you. And we're going to have to try a lot of different things.